Bandido.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.
Hi, I'm Nicole, Jacinto. Join us on Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗏 as we discuss the latest health and medical topics with doctors from 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗏. For a healthier and uplifting lifestyle, tune into Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗏 on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido TV. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Watch and listen to Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗏, Mondays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Airing on Sky Cable Channel 224 and on all DTT boxes. Simulcasting online on Facebook and YouTube. Listen and watch on your mobile devices. Just search DZRJ Radio Bandido.
You're about to experience Healthline, a show where doctors from 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗏 interact with you for a healthy, uplifting lifestyle. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto. You've got questions, we've got answers. So welcome to Healthline.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Healthline with 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗏. I'm your host, Nicole Jacinto. So it's August 19 today here in Metro Manila. It's good afternoon to everybody who's viewing here in Metro Manila Live. And for those of you around the world, it doesn't matter what time actually you're viewing us, whether it's live or whether you click on and subscribe to the channel of Radio Bandido TV. And we can also be seen on Facebook. You know all the channels, you know what to do. So just keep on watching, keep tuning in. And today we have with us Dr. 𝗠𝗸𝗵𝗹𝗁, who is an ophthalmology specialist. So you have a kind of a hint of what we're going to talk about or what body part. Welcome to the show, Dr. Valero. How are you today?
Good. How are you? It's a rainy Monday afternoon here in Manila. Hope you're staying safe.
Yes, it's a rainy and muggy afternoon. We can't figure out the weather, but
yeah,
global warming.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you for joining us on the show today, and thank you for sharing your time and effort to discuss this topic with us today, folks. Today we're going to talk about common refractive errors, of course, in the context of our eyesight. Before we start the show, though, Doctor, I'd just like to greet some of our avid viewers. We do have viewers, and I know there is a group in Cavite. I'm sorry I didn't get your names the last time, but I would like to greet you if you do send in a message. There's also some people around the world who do watch us, and of course in different time zones. And I'd like to greet Lita again. It was her birthday earlier this week, and she does watch the show. And undeniably, though, I know her very well. And then I'd like to greet Lita Ramos, who is an avid listener of the show. And I hope you're listening today, Lita. Happens to be here. So happy birthday, Lucia. And thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me, Lucia, and loving me no matter what. Okay, so let's talk about sight, doctor, like physical, actual sight. When we talk about refractive errors, doctor, can you just, to start off, can you give us the common, just like a common or sort of definition of what to refract means, or why we refer to it as refractive errors when you talk about our eyesight, of course, in the context of our discussion today?
All right. Basically, in order for you to see well, in order for you to have good eyesight, the rays of light should fall. The image that you're seeing should fall on the retina. So if it doesn't correspond to the area of the retina, which is the back of the eye, you can either be nearsighted or farsighted or any other combinations. So the refraction happens in the different, medias in the eye. You have the front of your eye, your cornea, you have your lens, and then finally it goes to the retina. So the light bends in different ways so that in a physiologic state, in a perfect state, it should all coincide in a spot on the retina at the very back of the eye, para focused, no? If it doesn't fall on the retina, it's not focused, so you have your refractive error.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Okay. So when we talk about the word refraction, it's bending light,
Yes,
essentially.
it's the bending of the light
So
through the
am I
different.
correct in asking
Yes,
you?
correct.
Okay. All right. So jump in and correct me anytime, educate me, because I'm here to ask questions. So there are different parts of our eyes, and like as you said, the front of our eyes. We also have like a natural lens, right? On
Yes,
top of our
correct. So that the
and
first layer is the cornea, and then the lens, and then you have the jelly inside your eye, which is supposed to be clear. That's the vitreous, and then finally your retina. So it has to go through all of that before it reaches the retina.
Okay, and it's when it encounters so if there is something, I guess, anatomically in our eye,
Yes,
or there's
yeah.
something stopping the light from being refracted properly by the retina,
Into the retina.
it has to go to the back of that. Yes, then that's when we encounter our common refractive errors or refractive errors in general,
Yes, correct.
leading
That's
to
correct.
affect.
Yes.
Thank you, doctor. So, when we talk about common refractive errors, okay, before that, I'd like to ask first. Oh, maybe this comes in later. I don't know.
Yeah.
Feel like answering it the way you want. I wanted to ask you what the most common refractive errors are. Like you did mention, nearsighted and farsighted.
Yeah.
And what are the most common types? Let's start with that.
Well, several types, no? There's your the most common, I think, is nearsightedness, where images and at far is not clear, but near it's clear. So that's why you're called nearsighted. No, there's farsightedness, where it's the distance vision is clear, but your near vision is not very clear. And then there's astigmatism, when the surface of the eye is uneven, so that you have different areas where the light will fall. So that's unclear for both distance and near. No, and then there is presbyopia,
So
which is what happens. Presbyopia is what happens when you get older and you have a difficulty in focusing for near objects, and you're having difficulty with reading. So those are the four types.
All right. Okay, the four types. So there's nearsightedness, which means like you can see things that are nearer, but you have problems seeing things that are distant.
For driving, watching movies,
and then of course there's you can be farsighted, which and then there's the astigmatism, which means there are uneven surfaces in your eye, and that affects both. You said, sorry, I didn't quite get it. It affects both the near and the far. And then the fourth is affects both. And then the fourth is that when you get a little older, then we have these like moments where we take off if we're nearsighted, we take off our glasses, or we need two types of glasses. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Does that happen? Can I ask you, doctor, why? Okay. When you say 20/20 vision, is that really the ideal vision? Okay.
It's I would say arbitrary, parang that's what they determine to be good vision, acceptable distance vision, which means what a normal person can see at 20 feet is what you can see at 20 feet. No? So, dapat ganon. If you're less than 20/20, that means what you see at, let's say you're 20/40, what you see at 20 feet is what a normal person can see at 40 feet. So you're poorer, you're worse off than the normal person. So it's I would say it's arbitrary, but it has its clinical advantages.
Lower, even like 10, 5.
Yeah, we have patients with visions that are 20/15. No, that means what you can see at 20 feet. Normal people can only see at 15 feet. No, so you have supervision, no? Something like that. Bionic vision, something like
Like
that.
night
No?
vision as well.
Hindi naman. But you have, your visual acuity is better than what is established to be normal.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor. So that was like a kind of rule that was made up before, but it's a good kind of guideline of how
Yes.
you are. And then like maybe maybe for some people, can you just like tell later, okay, when we talk about how you
Yeah.
how you diagnose it
Yeah.
and stuff. Okay. So doctor, what often causes refractive errors, or the four types, the most common types that you mentioned, at least
Okay.
with that, you know? Like,
All right. So for the first three types,
Is it,
the nearsightedness, farsightedness, that's
Doctor.
usually genetics. It's usually genetics. If your family,
Okay,
yeah, if your parents are nearsighted, most likely you'll have a higher likelihood of being nearsighted or farsighted. Astigmatism really, it's really from the growth of your eyes, no? When you're younger, the final shape of your eye isn't set yet, so nag-change pa siya. So that is usually caused by growth of the eyeball, which eventually evens out in the end, no? Or you might have some residual astigmatism, but that will only become stable at maybe age, like your nearsightedness, it'll only become stable at a certain age when you're an adult. And the presbyopia happens for normal people, not nearsighted people, it happens at around 40, 45. So, and that's just really the normal aging process of your eye.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Can eye conditions or the refractive errors that we have, with all of it, can they get worse? Can they get better? Okay.
So nearsightedness, usually when you start off having nearsightedness when you're a kid, that means your eyeball is still, the light rays are focused before the retina. That means if your eyeball gets bigger then that means your nearsightedness will get worse. No, so usually kids who are nearsighted tend to become more nearsighted as they get older. Okay, so because your eyeball is still getting bigger, so that's what happens. No?
Oh, sorry, doctor. It was I dropped something.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, doctor.
Okay. All right. So, so kids who are nearsighted, early on become more nearsighted as they get older. So that's the thing. It progresses. Now, the presbyopia, the difficulty in reading as you get older, tends to become worse also as you get older. Because the lens inside your eye fails to focus anymore. The lens inside your eye is like the lens of a camera. It focuses for near and far. As you get older, it becomes more stiff. So it doesn't focus as well. No? So your autofocus disappears. So you'll need additional lenses to help you read.
Yes.
Oh.
That's a great way of putting it with people now who understand cameras and all that.
Yeah.
The autofocus isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you for using that term.
Yeah.
So like you'll have to manually focus it with.
Yes. You'll have to help by putting additional lenses. You're putting your telephoto lenses, so to speak, because you can't focus for near anymore.
Okay, so that's what happens. And as you said, for that particular the myopia, it starts happening, or it can happen between 40 to 45, and that's the natural progression.
That's the presbyopia. That's the reading. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, the reading glasses. And I do know people who have had like just fantastic vision their whole life, and when they do get to that age, or maybe 50, they're like, oh, okay, I need reading glasses. So we're like, oh my god.
And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for a lot of people because you're used to be able to do everything without any glasses. You used to be able to drive and then read your phone and then watch a movie, read the book. Now you can't. You'll need more and more help to do near work. So that's the frustrating part for a lot of people. Yeah,
even those who I've worn glasses since I was a kid, and just the changes alone, or the
Yeah.
vision degenerating, it's all very frustrating. And add to that the presbyopia. It's like I'm not wearing the proper glasses right now because they broke, so I really should go to a
Okay. So,
ophthalmologist.
well, actually,
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're nearsighted, diba?
I'm nearsighted, and then now I also have to, like, I have to take it out to see
So
properly when
yeah,
it's
so
near
you
to
can
me.
read. So
So
you have a built-in daya where you take off your glasses so that you read. No, for
yes,
people who are
yes,
normal, so, quote unquote, no
yes,
glasses, they will need now glasses to read. You just have to take off your glasses to read. So
yes.
it's a little baliktad. No.
It is, but the distance still kind of matters somehow. Like, okay, I
Oh
can't
yeah,
read that
definitely,
far. It's
definitely.
all negotiation.
Hmm.
And nowadays, also with our computers and our gadgets, it's just like, okay, before this used to be like
Exactly.
reading, it was
Yes.
closer. And
Yes.
sometimes we tend to like our phones too much to our
Yeah.
face. But if it's a computer, it's a certain distance.
It has to be
Yeah.
certain
So
distance.
anyway, so yes, I'm glad you talked about the frustration that people experience. Yes. Okay. So thank you, doctor, for answering all those questions. And then I'd like to ask you, how do you diagnose these conditions? Do people go into your clinic? What tests do you conduct, and all of that, so
Okay.
that people understand better the whole process? And there may be people out there who just never had to go to an eye doctor because, as you
Yeah.
said, or like, and then they realize, oh, it's my eye, or it's my eyes, or probably like before diagnosing, you mentioned some of the symptoms that go
Yeah.
along with the
Mhm.
with each common refractive error, each common eye
Yeah.
condition.
Yeah.
But when when do you start getting people coming into your clinic? Like, let's say they've never been to an ophthalmologist before, or oh, they got checked somehow long time ago and they never needed glasses.
Yeah.
Are there any symptoms that come with that, like before they walk into
Mhm.
your clinic, before
Yeah.
you start diagnosing them?
I'm glad you asked about symptoms. No, so there is a very important thing that we need to do, which is screening school children. No, kids at a very young age. You have to screen them for refractive errors. No, a lot of people will go on with their lives not knowing they have
Mhm.
issues with their vision. No, but it's very important for us to recognize
Yes.
refractive errors in children because it affects the way they will grow up. No, so some of the
Mm-hmm.
symptoms and the signs that you will have to watch out for, no, in your children. If they need to poor performance in school and they have to go to the front of the class to see the blackboard, no. If they're having a hard time, paying attention because they're at the back, if they're tall and then they can't see up front, no. If they go too close to the TV when they're watching, no, if they're in their gadgets and they're holding it up close, so that could be signs
Mm-hmm.
na of nearsightedness, no. So any signs na parang your children are parang nagbabanlag, nagduduling, you need to have
Yeah.
your
The eyes crossed.
you have to have them checked already. But generally, these should be screened at a very young age, no, especially if you have a history of wearing glasses in the family. Now, a
Okay.
lot of people will have a very low grade of refractive error. They will only
Mhm.
feel the symptoms when they're overworked, when they're tired, when they've been reading too much, then when they've been using their eyes too much, they'll say, okay, I'm straining my eyes because after a
Ah,
while I can't read anymore, or I'm having a hard time, or I can't see distance. That means you're overworking your eyes for some reason. No, you might be focusing because when you're younger, you can still focus. No, you have some range of focus, so you can overcome some degree of error of refraction, but you have to work harder. So you get
mhm.
headaches, you get blurry vision, you get tired eyes. The general term is always tired eyes, no, or headaches, no. When that frequently
Yes.
happens, you should have yourself seen, no, and have yourself checked for refractive errors.
All
And
right.
then
Thank you,
at a certain age, again, when you're reaching 40, 45, and you notice yourself holding your phone or your books farther,
Doctor.
you're putting the books farther from you. That's also a sign that you should see your doctor to be checked for reading glasses. No? So those things.
Yes. And sometimes, doctor, like for nearsighted people like me, when you hit that 40 to 45 age, you kind of, you're thinking, oh, it's still the nearsighted thing, and you're putting the stuff closer to your eyes, and it's
Yeah,
scrambling.
it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working.
It's not working. And then you take off your glasses. Wow, magic. Diba? So,
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah,
people
you're
who
like,
have...
am I?
Yeah.
No, not.
So yeah, you just have to have it checked, no? And when you get to the doctor's clinic, no, we usually check we have some maneuvers that we do to check your refractive error, and then we will try the lenses, that the measurements that we take, we will try it on you and see how well you do with that. No? So that will improve your vision, no, and relieve you from the headaches, no, if the headaches are coming from the errors of refraction.
So, doctor, okay, when it comes to like having a checkup or getting screened and how you diagnose it, can we just describe the process a little bit to people who maybe hesitant to go or have never gone, or like, yes, do we confirm this is what you do when you go? So someone walks into your clinic, say, and then do you have them do the read the line, the reading test, and all of that? Okay.
So what we do is when you come in, the first thing we do is, of course, we talk about your history and see what's happening. No, but a basic part of the eye exam is we make you read that eye chart. No, so that is considered your distance vision. No, so we'll make you read the distance vision to see if you can get to 20/20, no, which is what our cutoff is for good vision. If you're able to see 20/20, then by all intents and purposes, you're okay. You might have a little bit of a refractive error, but it's probably negligible. No? If you can't see 20/20, no, that means something else is happening. So we now check with a variety of maneuvers to see if it is a refractive error, because not having 20/20 vision can be caused by a lot of things, but that's the first thing we check, also the refraction. So we we shine a light in your eye, or sometimes we have machines in the clinic that measures your refraction. And then once we get that measurement, we try it on you. No, diba? We make you try the lenses to see which one is better, number 1 or number 2. Yeah. And then
you say what's better, this or that?
Yes, exactly. Until we get to your optimal vision. No, if we still could not correct you to 20/20, we have to find something else that's happening, because a pure refractive error usually could be corrected, naman. But if it's not, we'll have to look for other issues. Yeah.
So I'll just kind of describe some of my experiences in the optometrist. So you go in there, and I brought people also to get their eye exam, and there's like a chart, and there's bigger letters going down to smaller letters, and of course the doctor will ask you to come out, and then I know you guys can tell when we start guessing already, like SP4 F,
definitely.
and then a 0 Q.
Definitely
5, no F. You start doing that.
We have allowances for that. No, we know, sometimes if you make mistakes, we make a notation. If you don't get everything in that line, let's say it's 20/20, but you made 2 mistakes, we write down 20/20 minus 2. Or sometimes if we know that the patient has memorized the chart, we make them read another chart. There's another chart that's equivalent to that, no, with different letters, or we make them read backwards. No.
Yes.
So
I know. Sometimes I don't know. In school they would have like sometimes routine eye tests supposedly, but then I remember my classmates like, here's in some schools. I went to a lot of schools.
Yeah.
Like here it is memorized, and I was like, what's the point? We need to
correct. Yeah, it's not a test that although it is an eye test, it's not a pass or fail test. Again, it's very important that we diagnose it early. No? Yes, so we can correct it early.
And then you'll put something like a lens, and then you'll put, better here or there. And I know sometimes doctors have to be patient, because sometimes I really, like myself, I can't, I don't know, doctor.
Yeah.
Better with this or that. I can't really tell.
So that's actually the endpoint that we're looking for. If it's both lenses are the same, that means it's probably that power already. So that's what we're waiting for. That if you can't tell now which one is better, number one or number two, that means you're already at what we call equilibrium. Parang you're corrected na at that stage. No, so if they're just as clear or are just as malabo.
Thank you for explaining that, doctor, because I've been with people who are like, they're like, I really don't know, and then they feel pressure to tell the doctor.
Yeah. Don't just tell the doctor what you see. No, it's easier if we have an open communication, because it's that's actually what we're waiting for, is that we call it neutralized. No? So it's neither better nor worse. No? So if you're confused, that means we've hit the target already.
Because I've been the tattletale in some of those exams, and actually, so it's not a bad thing if you can't tell at the last minute that you're trying to get to that point where, okay, so that's great that you explained
it's
that.
It's called neutralization, point of neutralization. No, so if they're just as good or just as bad, so we end. Pag ganun na.
Thank you for explaining that, doctor. I know. And okay, so no matter what you'll know what to use. So this is the part where it's already neutralized or equalized somehow, and you'll know what. We can ask as many questions as we want, and then at that point you're like, oh, I see why you think the R was actually an S Q. Right. Okay. So, doctor, just before we go to discuss this topic more, we just have to take a short break. So, folks, we'll be right back, and I'm sporting these corrective lenses, and I'll sport another, and maybe we'll ask doctor, why do people collect glasses? Okay, but anyway, we'll stay tuned, because we'll discuss refractive errors more. There's a lot you can learn about your eyesight and how to correct some or make minor adjustments with your ophthalmologist, of course. So stay tuned to Healthline with Makati Med. We'll be right back.
You're listening to DZRJ 810 AM. We'll be right back after these reminders.
Hi, this is Dr. 𝗂𝗍𝗂 from Makati Medical Center, and I'm happy to share that our world-class quality healthcare with the heart is now more accessible and affordable at Makati Med Care Access, Araneta City. What's more, Makati Med Care Access is the only single-use hemodialysis center in Araneta City. It's now easier for patients to avail of renal care services right in the heart of Cubao. We offer health screening and diagnostic procedures in this facility at affordable rates. You can get services such as mammogram, ultrasound, lab procedures, ECG, and many others. We believe that access to affordable, quality, and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right. And we at Makati Med Care Access Araneta City are doing our best to make this possible to more people. You can find us at the ground floor of Manhattan Plaza Tower 1 in Araneta Center, Cubao. We are open from Mondays to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sundays from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. For inquiries, you may reach out to us at the numbers below. We look forward to serving you here at Makati Med Care Access, Araneta City. This is Dr. 𝗂𝗍𝗂 from Makati Medical Center, and I'm happy to share that our world-class quality healthcare with the heart is now more accessible and affordable through Makati Med Care Access at 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵. Available for outpatient care services, our 𝗛𝗶𝘁𝗵 site offers consultation and diagnostic procedures such as medical assistance, hospital admission assistance, blood pressure monitoring, laboratory tests, and X-ray, among others. This is really convenient for those residing in Makati and nearby areas who do not want to go to the hospital to have these treatments and procedures done. We believe that access to excellent quality and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right, and we at Makati Med 𝗠𝗸𝗁𝗵𝗹 are doing our best to make this possible to more people. We are open from Monday to Saturday at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the third floor of 𝗠𝗸𝗁𝗵𝗹 in Makati City. For inquiries, you may reach us at these numbers. We look forward to serving you here at Makati Med Care Access 𝗠𝗸𝗁𝗵𝗹. Hi, this is Dr. Jacinto from Makati Medical Center, and I'm happy to share that our world-class quality healthcare with the heart is now more accessible and affordable via Makati Med Mobile Care Access. As the name suggests, this service is mobile, which means that we go to where you are. Mobile Care Access deploys a team of professionals for face-to-face consultations and to conduct basic laboratory and diagnostic procedures, as well as vaccination and testing, depending on your needs. We can go to any location of your choice within the metro and readily offer these healthcare services to communities or groups. For added convenience, different modes of payment are available, including HMO benefits for those with a valid letter of authorization. We believe that access to affordable, quality, and compassionate healthcare is a basic human right, and we at Makati Med are doing our best to make this possible to more people. For inquiries, scheduling, or pre-registration, you may reach out to us at the following numbers. We look forward to coming to you and serving your community with Makati Med Mobile Care Access.
You're back with Healthline, keeping you healthy, moderated by Nicole Jacinto. You're back with Healthline, keeping you healthy, moderated by Nicole Jacinto.
Ako po si Bernard Tan, ang kakampi sa katotohanan at katarungan, ang kakampi ng mga OFWs. Samahan niyo po ako dito sa DZRJ 8:10 a.m. sa Radyo Bandido TV at syempre sama-sama po nating labanan ng mali at ipaglaban ang tama.
Watch and listen to Kakampi, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Airing on Sky Cable Channel 224 and on all DTT boxes. Simulcasting online on Facebook and YouTube. Listen and watch on your mobile devices. Just search DZRJ Radio Bandido.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Healthline with Makati Med. I'm your host, Nicole Jacinto. Thank you, Dr. 𝗠𝗸𝗁𝗵𝗋, for being patient. I am having I'll be honest with you guys, I'm having some signal problems, but they should be okay by now because I reset stuff. And thank you again to the wonderful Wi-Fi providers in this country. Okay, yes, sarcasm there. But anyway, guys, we pay our bills and stuff. It would be nice if, you gave us 100% service, and because when the time comes, it would be nice if we could see how much signal you actually gave us. That way we could also like adjust what our payments accordingly. Like if you only gave us 70% of the service this time, then maybe we can only pay 70% of our bill. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyway, doctor, let's get back to the discussion, which is refractive errors. You told us how you diagnose it, and it's a simple visit to the clinic. Of course, if it's a more, we're talking about common refractive errors. So I'm sure like if you'd like to join us again and talk about different types of eye problems, and you did say earlier on in the show that if you try to get it down to 20, and the
Yeah, if you
lens,
can, yeah.
if you can,
Yeah.
and the lenses should be able to do that. We may not want to launch into this discussion, but just
Yeah.
the possibility, like if you can't get it down to that, there might be other causes apart from just like, addressing the refraction.
Yeah, so that really is the best indicator for us to look for other problems as well. No, if we can't correct the vision to, the what we call good vision, so we look for other causes. Could be cataracts in the aging population. You could have other issues inside your eye that's causing the vision to not be as good, even if the refractive error is corrected. No, so it really is all the we will look for what is parang suspicious in you, no, if we can't correct your vision. So but that's the first indicator that something is not perfect in your eye if we cannot correct you to that level of vision. No.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. And then, doctor, when it comes to the common errors that we've talked about, common refractive errors, how do eyeglasses, like the ones I'm wearing, and maybe the ones you're wearing, how do glasses and contact lenses help with that?
Okay. So what happens with glasses is that they re-refract the light so that it falls exactly on the retina. So if you're nearsighted, without glasses, the image would fall before the retina. So if you put in glasses, it will sort of make the image fall on the retina. For those who are farsighted, what happens is the image falls behind the retina. So you put glasses so that the image will fall on the retina itself. No? For astigmatic cases, because the eye shape is irregular, you will correct what is irregular to make it regular so that it will fall on the retina. No?
And
so,
a way of changing how the light bends with
exactly. So you can make it bend more, bend less. No, so what you're wearing, minus lens, makes it bend less. No, so that it will travel further. No, so that it will reach the retina. So so that's it. And you can do that with contact lenses as well. No, the contact lenses, you put it on the eye itself. No, so all the power that we've computed, you put it on top of the eye so that it will correct your refractive error. Now, the other thing is really surgical. You change the shape of your cornea, or you change your lens so that we compute it pretty much the way we compute grade, no, so that the resulting light will fall on the retina, and hopefully your 20/20 if there's nothing else that's wrong with the eye.
Now, doctor, how come there are some cases when patients are told that, oh, you can wear glasses, but you shouldn't wear contact lenses. It's bad for your eyes. Okay, let's start with that. Okay.
All right. Well, no matter how good the technology for contact lenses have become, it's still a foreign body. No, you still have to put it on top of the eye. It causes decreased oxygen delivery to your cornea because your cornea gets its oxygen from the environment. So if you cover it, no, it doesn't get enough oxygen. So you get all sorts of problems. Two, you can also get infections, scratches, which can lead to, really bad infections in the eye, can cause blindness, especially if you don't know how to take care of your contact lenses. No, if you don't take it out every night, no, you wear dirty contact lenses, no, or you don't wash your hands when you change your contact lenses. For some people, naman, even if they can take care of their contact lenses, their eyes are just really dry. So it's going to be very difficult to wear contact lenses. No, remember, you need some sort of lubrication in your eyes so that the contact lenses don't stick and that doesn't cause abrasion. If your eyes are naturally dry, then you will have difficulty wearing contact lenses. No, so in that case, you might be better off wearing glasses or having surgery. But it depends. No, there are cases of dry eyes that we can treat. No, you can probably use lubricating drops so that it makes everything a little bit more, smooth, and you might be able to wear contact lenses with proper management.
Doctor, you mentioned scratches to the eye,
Yeah.
possibly getting scratches to the eye. Like if you're, let's say, you get an infection or your eye gets
Yeah.
itchy just
Yeah.
by not properly handling it. And there are times when people forget that they're wearing contact lenses and
Yes.
or like, I forgot to buy the solution, or
Yeah.
that thing, or especially you're younger, you're out all night. And then I
Yes.
know someone who kept her contact lenses in her eyes for a month because she just kept forgetting to buy a solution.
So
I'm
that's
not
the
gonna
thing,
say your name. I mean, but things happen. So, the
Yeah.
scratch. Is it possible to get a scratch in your retina from?
It's your cornea. It's
The
your cornea.
cornea.
It's the outside most layer. So that can get scratched from a variety of factors. Your contact lens itself can scratch it, if it's dirty now, or if it's torn. Sometimes it can scratch it. The dryness itself can scratch it, can cause abrasions in the cornea. The physical motion of scratching can scratch it, or a foreign body can scratch it. So all sorts of things. It's a very, very sensitive layer that can easily be abraded. So you have to be careful with that. That's why the first thing we ask patients if they say, I want to wear contact lenses, is can you take care of them? No,
Yeah.
it's not a matter of wanting it. No, it's a matter of being able to take care of it, because it can lead to issues. No, so you need to have a commitment that you should be able to take care of it. I've had patients na, they're in their 20s and 30s would just say, no, I can't take care of it. Never mind. And patients who are 15, 16, who are very responsible and could wear contact lenses, and they just take it out every night. They develop good habits very early on. And some people just really couldn't. So I just tell them, that you're asking for trouble. So just wear glasses or have LASIK done.
Yes. Okay. Two things, or actually three. How do you get scratches in your retina? If that's too big of a topic, let's not take it up now. But
The retina is at the very back of the eye, so you don't technically get a scratch. You can get a tear or a hole in the retina, but not a scratch.
different reasons, not related.
It's a different region. Yeah.
All right. And then when it comes to how do you feel about people using contact lenses a lot to change the color of their eyes? I mean, for let's say
for
few days, or for cosmetic reasons, or do some kind of photo shoot. I know that was
it's just really like as long as you get it from a reputable source, you should take care of it the same way. No, the only caveat here is there is no pathology in your eye. You don't have a refractive error. You're putting a foreign body inside your eye. Make sure you can take care of it, because it's an unnecessary risk that you're taking. Very, very small risk maybe, but it's a risk just the same. We've had patients, a lot of our complications from contact lenses actually do not come from people who wear contact lenses for grade.
Yeah.
They come from contact lenses, cosmetic contact lenses. Because sometimes they forget to take it out, because they don't know where it came from, but they've kept it for so long na infect na siya, madumi na siya. So
it's a year old, they didn't
they didn't clean it, or these contact lenses don't last forever, unless you take care of them. And right now the technology doesn't really, unless it's a hard lens that you can use for a long period of time, but soft contact lenses, if you don't take care of them, if you don't hydrate them, they dry up and then they become brittle, and then you get scratches, and sometimes because you left it out for so long, it gets dirty.
Yeah.
So you get infections, bad infections.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, doctor, for that. So a warning to those who are using it for cosmetic reasons. There is a risk to it. And then when it comes to surgery, doctor, you did mention surgery, either to correct your vision, or of course, when it's a cataract, we learn surgery. No. There are cases where I've heard of cases actually where people are told you can't have surgery to correct your vision. Why is that?
Okay. So we're talking about, so now let's talk about yung laser corrective surgery. Okay. Okay. So that's either LASIK, PRK, or what they call the lenticule extraction. So those are all laser procedures on the cornea to correct your vision. Now that will depend. What happens is that we take off some tissue from the cornea to change the shape. No. If your cornea is too thin, there's no tissue to take out. So we won't be able to do that. If your grade is too high and we have to take out too much tissue, we have to shave off too much tissue, then you're not a good candidate because it will leave you with a very thin cornea that's prone to problems. So we have a cutoff. There's a value that we use as a cutoff. Anything thinner than this, you cannot go any thinner than this, or else the risk for problems become higher and higher. So if we compute that in order for us to correct it to 0 grade, we'll need to take out this much tissue and you'll be left with this much tissue and it's not an acceptable number. We will say, no, you're not a good candidate for that. We'll look for other ways.
All right. Okay. And doctor, are there such things as I've heard this before, like, oh, we shouldn't do surgery on your eyes because your eyes may tend to scar because, like, if you have keloid scars in other parts of your...
Well, it's hard to predict. No, but it is a wound. It is still considered a wound because you cut a flap open, you shave it, and you put the flap back on. In case of LASIK or with lenticular extraction, you still create a wound. No? So the healing, for the most part, we can predict. But there are some people that will not heal the usual way. So sometimes the healing will be in a more disorganized way, so that one, it can cause haziness. Two, the target refraction will not be reached. So those are rare but things that can happen, but they happen. So that's why we need to follow you up regularly after you do your procedure, just so we know that you're healing well. But really, different people heal different in different ways, and this is essentially a healing process.
And I've also heard in the past, like a long time ago, somebody told me, actually 2 people told me, they were brother and sister, that they were advised to just not, this was like 20 or more years ago, so I don't know if things have changed. They were advised not to get the surgery because their corneas were concave and not convex, something like that, if I remember correctly. Is there such a thing?
I don't know what that means, but it's just really the thickness of the cornea, the thickness of the cornea, yeah. So some people... I have too thin na cornea that they won't be able to take out as much tissue. So and the other thing that you also have to take note is sometimes, like you, if you have your LASIK now, you will have good vision in distance, assuming everything goes okay. You will have good distance vision, but you'll still need reading glasses. So it doesn't take away all the requirements for glasses. So that's the caveat there. So that's why you'd hear also some people when they're 50 or 60 and they still want to have LASIK will say, no more na lang, because you're gonna have cataract soon. We'll just take out the cataracts later. So it's also, is it still cost effective for you? Does it give you the same amount of benefit for the risk? So those are the things you have to discuss also with your doctor.
Yeah, and that's great because you're saying all of that, so people have a better idea. People who are tuning into the show are more, and who listen to the show at any time are more informed of these things, and they can really have a great discussion with their own personal doctors or with you. If they choose to go to you and you accept them as patients, then they can really get down to the nitty gritty and get all the explanations of why, or should they not. And I'm sure, since you're taking the time to be with us here today and explain all of it, you're the type who will really sit down with the patient and tell them, things that they need to know, because it's scary to watch.
Yeah, I think it's very important for patients to be able to be empowered to ask, especially because this is quote unquote an elective procedure. It's not something that will, if you don't get it, you'll go blind. So it's very important, like with any other procedures, is that you talk about it at length with your doctor. what are the expectations, what are the possible complications, how would you take care of it after. So in the end, you make an informed decision, because you also have to do your research. You also have to read up. No, usually will give you all the information, but because of sometimes patients would just tend to believe what the doctors would say. Oh, yes, yes, yes. But you need to have an understanding of what is going to be done to you, so that you also have, you're more empowered to ask, so that you're also more, how would you say it, comfortable with your choice, because you've already made an informed decision, not just giving the doctor the full power to decide about your eyes. No? So we always encourage that with our patients, is that ask at the end of do you have any questions? If they're not asking and you feel that they're not getting all the information, you repeat, so that they will, at the end, walang sisihan. I gave you all the information. You asked me all the information that we needed. So we both have, equal stakes in the procedure.
Thank you, doctor, for being that way, and for encouraging, even if a patient is so worried about their eyesight, that they can get second opinions. Okay.
Oh, yes. We always encourage second opinions, especially for cases it's difficult cases. Me personally, I always tell my patients, if it's an emergency, I'll tell them, get a second opinion soon, but make a decision. You can get a second opinion. If it's not an emergency, you encourage them to, especially if you feel that they're not convinced, especially if you feel that, I'm on the fence on this one. I tell them, just seek a second or even third opinion, but do it quickly, especially in cases of emergencies, so that you can make a decision quickly also. If it's an elective procedure, take your time.
Okay. Yes. There are many people who may even take it for granted for in the beginning, but later on, you do get scared when your vision starts degenerating. Like, even if you're a long-time wearer of glasses, you're like, oh, I really don't want my eyesight to get worse. So at least you're there, no matter how many questions we ask, you're there to give us the answers. Okay.
But very important is that you come and see us.
Yes.
We won't be able to help you if you don't see us. Diba? I think there should be a two-way street here. We have a lot of patients. I've seen a lot of patients who will come in. So when did your problem start? 2 years ago, 3 years ago? And then why are you coming now when it's a little bit, difficult to treat? So my advice to people in general is to see your eye doctors regularly. Don't wait for it to become worse. Some people say, it's going to go away. It's going to get better on its own. And there's no harm in seeing a doctor, just to make sure that it's not something that will cause blindness or permanent damage. So it's important for you I would rather that you're more paranoid about your eyes and see a doctor every time you see something, rather than just let it go. It's difficult to lose your eyesight.
Yes. And doctor, there are right, I got distracted. I was going to ask you something on that, but okay, never mind. I got distracted. It'll back in a minute. Sorry, yes. In going to see the doctor, sometimes you're really afraid, and if you're not, as you said, get a second opinion and come and see the doctor so you can check out our eyes. Of course, an exam cannot be done properly, and sometimes you recommend other procedures, and you look at the eyes, and you can talk it out with your doctor. Okay.
And sometimes we even recommend you to see another doctor if it's not our specialty, so so that you get the proper care and the right care for your eyes.
Thank you, doctor, for reminding us to go. And doctor, are there any lifestyle factors that can, influence the development of, getting refractive errors or having eye conditions that are not ideal or affect your eyesight?
Right. Aside from genetics, as I've said, no, if you're born to a family of nearsighted people, you're just your luck. You will probably get nearsightedness. But lifestyle studies have recently have been showing that our increased use of gadgets is actually causing us to have an increased rate of nearsightedness.
Okay.
Two, children who play outdoors tend to have less progression of nearsightedness as well. So what we always advise parents is that you encourage your kids to get out, get off their gadgets and play outside. So that that's one lifestyle modification that will help. Two, sometimes diabetes can cause fluctuations in your grades. So if it's frequently fluctuating, you need to have your blood sugars checked. And as a general rule, just really have your eyes checked just to make sure that nothing else is happening.
Yes, doctor. I mean, there are some cases where, I don't know if it's because of diabetes or my blood sugar, you can get stuff like glaucoma, no? Or that might be a totally
mostly
different...
retinopathy. Retinopathy is the most common. Cataracts and retinopathy are the most common problems with diabetes. But one of the more common presenting symptoms of diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes, is fluctuating refractive errors. Okay. Some patients will come, my last 2 months ago, my grade was like this. My grade is like this now. Why is it changing a lot? Then you ask them to check their sugars. So their sugars are really going up and down.
Okay.
So if that's happening to you, have your sugars checked.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Is there anything, it's just really quick, the stuff we heard when we were kids, read with the proper lighting. Does that work? Stuff like that. And then, just your bookworm reading with a flashlight under the covers, and then someone coming, I'm supposed to be asleep now. And watching too much TV, as you said, the gadgets. Do all those things play a factor as well? And the nutrition?
Well, nutrition, of course, is always good, the proper nutrition, but unless you're malnourished, really, it doesn't affect your eyes that much. Proper lighting is okay so that you don't tire out your eyes easily. Again, for children, minimize gadget use, at least limit gadget use, go outside and play under the sun so that you have better sunlight exposure, and as much as possible, try to, do things in moderation, just so that you don't abuse your eyes. And most importantly, if you feel something, see your eye doctor.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Any final words you'd like to say to those who, for eyesight or anything in time for I believe it's eyesight.
It's sight saving month. August is sight saving month. So take this time to have your eyes checked. Again, we're all your partners. Us ophthalmologists are your partners in your eye care. So take the time out of your busy schedules, just to have your eyes checked. Sometimes, even if you're not feeling anything, go ahead. If you have other risk factors, go ahead and have your eyes checked so that whatever problems you have, we catch it early and we can fix it while it's still in the early stages.
And doctor, best to go to an ophthalmologist. I know optometrists help you guys, but sometimes people say, I'll just go to the mall and there. But
there's really nothing wrong with having your optometrist check your grade, but really that is the extent of what they can be doing. So if there are any other pathologies, you should see your eye doctor, your ophthalmologist. Our optometrists are aware enough to refer to ophthalmologists anyway if they can't correct you. So that's one thing they do. If they can't correct you to 20/20, they refer you to ophthalmologists also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
So just see your eye
I've
doctor,
seen that. I've experienced that in person.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for being on the show. And that's all for this week, folks. We'll be back next week with Makati Med. Thank you so much, Dr. Sherman, for sharing all that knowledge.
My pleasure.
With us today and for educating me more about my eyesight. I gotta go soon to an eye doctor. And
yes.
to those people out there, get your eyes checked, and August is sight saving month. Okay, thank you very much, doctor. Oh, by the way, I'd like to say hello to Oma Alberto. She is an avid watcher watcher and listener, and like say hello to her today. All right. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
So folks, see you next week on Healthline with Makati Med. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Healthline with expert doctors from Makati Med, giving you the chance to interact, uplifting your lifestyle. Moderated by Nicole Jacinto. Tune in again next week for your weekly dose of Healthline.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.